A familiar sting is already starting in the old leggers. Shut up, legs.
And we are back for another episode of Dead Last Cycling. This week, we're racing on stage 2 of the Zwift Gravel series.
Handful of gravel, guys. More like handful of sleepy for me. Gotta make sure I don't fall asleep here, though, and get dropped on the tarmac. Oh.
In stage 1, I quickly found myself having to burn matches as I got dropped by road bikes on the tarmac lead-in. Thankfully today, it seemed like most people were on gravel bikes and nobody was drilling it quite as hard out of the gate, which was good because I went into this race unsure on how my legs would be.
My legs are fried still from Tuesday's CRL points race. So hopefully I can hold on today.
Tuesday's race redefined the word brutal for me, and with 2 long, albeit shallow climbs to tackle today, I wasn't confident that my legs would be there when I needed them, but we'd made it to the gravel okay, so challenge 1 had been ticked off.
A better start than last week at least, because I don't have to chase back on. I don't think we get any power-ups today, which is strange, but also maybe that's better. I certainly prefer when the power-ups aren't random. The random power-ups can just really decide a race.
If you ever get an anvil instead of a feather in a race, you'll know exactly what I mean, because it'll be goodnight Irene before you even get to the top of the climb to use your anvil.
We got this long lead in, and then 2 laps, which is basically a climb, a little descent, and another climb with a descent into a finish. Hopefully hang on for the first lap, and then see what's possible on the second lap. You never know, right?
By see what's possible, I meant see if we could have a little fun. With Zwift Racing Series being my primary races for April, and with the reduced fields in these gravel races, I want to try to use them as an opportunity to be a little more dynamic, as opposed to just sitting in and waiting for a reduced bunch sprint. But first, I'd need to get over the first little kick of the day.
Use that draft to punch through. That is perfectly executed, if I don't say so myself. Or if I do say so myself.
I'll let you decide how well I actually navigated that, but the lead-in was basically over and the group had already been reduced.
We've already split it apart quite a bit here. Whether it'll come together or not, I'm not sure. If you look in the top right, we've got a big pack just behind us and a big pack behind them.
With the small field size, big was perhaps an overstatement, but either way, we'd made it past the first selection of the day.
Still on the level 0 Cannondale with the Terra Aeros. Focusing on road bike upgrades right now. It's not got the time to do both.
Bike upgrades take forever, and this lead-in was taking forever. So let's get to the climb.
It's a long climb. Shallow but long. And the slow speeds of gravel means it's going to take even longer.
A long steady effort was just what my legs were not calling out for.
A familiar sting is already starting in the old leggers. Shut up, legs.
Weirdly, after this, my legs did stop protesting quite as much, so perhaps Jen's Voigt was onto something.
It's a bit steeper up here. Get back in the draft, please. Beep beep, coming through into the draft. Elbows out.
I was expecting people to push the pace at the start of this climb, as that's where it's steepest, and to some extent people did, with the New York Vision rider driving us up for a while, but the group quickly bunched back together and it was obvious nobody wanted to push.
Like nobody wants to push now. Fine with me, it's too far for me to go here. I think we could have split it there if we wanted to, but nobody wanted to.
And I'll be honest, for maybe the first time ever in a Zwift race, this climb was ridden at a fairly pedestrian pace.
Like people are really saving themselves here for the next lap.
With everyone content to ride defensively and save bullets for the last lap, our pace kept dropping further and further as we crawled our way up the hill, but I wasn't complaining.
Yeah, this is really being ridden slowly, guys, which is welcome. Very welcome, but next lap I think is going to be explosive.
An explosive final climb was all part of the plan, but everyone being fresh for it would make my job that little bit harder, and as we punched over the bridge, the group was firmly intact and ready for the main event of the race.
Follow the wheels first half, at the very least.
The goal was to sit in for the first half of the climb and then hit out for home, if I could, later on. But people had other plans.
Got an attack off the front a little bit there.
We already had our first attack and the climb had only just started. I didn't want to get stuck towing the group, so when a second rider jumped, I decided to get involved.
See if I can follow this wheel.
This was a pretty big dig to get to Cornette's wheel, and way earlier in the climb than I wanted to go, but you've got to be in it to win it. With 3 of us having a gap off the front, the peloton was forced to start riding, and we started to get clawed back.
I wanted to attack way later than this. I wanted to attack on the last little rise before the bridge.
Burning that match definitely reduced the chances of me being able to successfully attack later, but the plan had been to try to launch an attack into the final little rise before the bridge and see if I could hold off the charging peloton on the descent.
See if anybody else wants to close that.
Cornette was pushing off the front again, but I didn't want to be the person jumping across. I still needed to recover, but quickly it became clear to me that someone would need to push the pace.
I gotta put a bit of work in.
But we all know how little I like being in the wind, so I wasn't going to do it alone.
Come through.
As I swung back into the group, with nobody really pushing the pace, we soon had a second attacker jumping off the front, as AV, one of the riders who had dragged back our earlier escape, shot off to join Cornette. There was a long way left to go though, and gradually, our group started to wind up the pace, and second by second, we were coming back.
Oh, they're dangling.
The breakaway was about to be caught right where I had been planning to attack. My legs weren't as fresh as I'd hoped, but I decided to throw caution to the wind and counterattack right over the top of them. My initial standing attack snapped the elastic, and I had to buckle down to try to make it stick, but it didn't feel like the smart move.
Stupid. But it's all good fun.
With one big kick left before the descent, I was already in the struggle.
Oh my god, my legs are jelly.
I was close to cracking. That is, until Director Sportif Hector Santiago came over the radio.
Come on, thank you, Hector.
Hector's encouragement snapped me back into focus, and from here on out, I was all in. Full commitment, do or die. I knew this attack was likely doomed, but this was as much about pushing myself to the limit as it was about getting the win. So with Hector urging me on like Zwift's version of Grisha Neiman, I set about keeping the pedals turning however I could. My legs were completely full of lactate, and my lungs were screaming, and I only had a few seconds gap, but with such a fast descent and nobody lighting it up behind, maybe, just maybe, I could hold on.
Oh. No! Oh my god, that's not even the line! Man, that wasn't even the line! Oh well. I had fun. I don't think I would have got him even if I knew that wasn't the line. Oh man.
Massive shout out and thanks to Hector for coming in clutch with the support. It genuinely made a world of difference.
Good fun and a good effort. Ill-advised. But these gravel races for the next few weeks are about a bit of fun. If you got this far, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. If you like, comment, or subscribe, I'd appreciate that too. See you next time.